Dune, Part 2, an exclusive first look at the saga's epic conclusion. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, and director Denis Villeneuve share secrets from the new film and reveal Florence Pugh's, Austin Butler's, and Léa Seydoux' new characters. If you want to know where Dune, Part 2 will begin, just look to the ending of the 2021 original. Director Denis Villeneuve wants to make it clear that his new movie, set for release November 3rd, is not so much another film as a continuation of the first. It's important, it's not a sequel, it's a second part. There's a difference, Villeneuve tells Vanity Fair for this exclusive first look. I wanted the movie to really open just where we left the characters. There's no time jump. I wanted dramatic continuity with Part 1. Before the credits rolled on that movie, Timothée Chalamet's young royal Paul Atreides, prophesied to become a great leader, had been reduced to nothing. He had survived the destruction of his powerful family by the rapacious industrialists known as House Harkonnen, but was cast out into the barren sands of planet Arrakis. There he met Chani, played by Zendaya, an ethereal woman who had been appearing in his dreams, and was welcomed into her tribe of desert survivors known as the Fremen. In the final moments, he watched as one of the Fremen used ropes and hooks to latch onto one of the burrowing leviathans known as sandworms, and rode off into the distance. Desert power, he says. Chani looks back at him and says, "It's only the beginning," which stands as a coded message to the viewer that the story remains incomplete. To become a full-fledged Fremen, and lead them in a counterattack that will avenge his fallen family and defeat the powers corrupting the galaxy, Paul will have to ride one of these beasts in Dune, Part 2. It's a matter of life and death because, if you fuck it up, you're going to kill yourself, Villeneuve says. It's a rite of passage. It's the way you become an adult in the Fremen world. That is a very important part of their culture and they respect the worms as half-gods, so they have a religious relationship with the worm. Elsewhere in the universe, Florence Pugh has joined the cast as Princess Irulan, the daughter of Emperor Shaddam IV played by Christopher Walken, the supreme ruler of the galaxy, whose grip on the warring factions has slipped. Her stake could not be higher because she's afraid that her father could lose the throne, could lose everything, Villeneuve says. When I met Florence, I was struck by her assurance, how grounded she is as a young woman, how direct, how unapologetic. She has something inherently royal about her. I will definitely believe that Florence could become, in the future, a prime minister. Helping engineer the collapse that Princess Irulan foresees is another new character to the Dune universe, the lethal Harkonnen Prince Feyd-Rautha, portrayed by Austin Butler. Moviegoers may remember this character being played by Sting in David Lynch's 1984 adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel, and Villeneuve draws on another rock star comparison to describe his film's take on this soulless assassin. Austin Butler brought to the screen something that would be a cross between a psychotic, sociopath serial killer and Mick Jagger. Story of Dune centers on warlords fighting for control of spice, the mind-altering mineral that's found only on Arrakis and imbues those who consume it with luminous azure eyes. It's a story about surviving with limited resources and the dangers of exploiting the natural world instead of living in harmony with it. But all of that would become abstract if the audience had no investment in who won this epic clash. Villeneuve's challenge was to create investment in Paul's quest for vengeance, and Chani's determination to protect and defend her homeworld. To accomplish this, Dune, Part 2 had to be an epic love story between the two. That was easier to propose than accomplish. It was funny trying to figure out in this futuristic space talk, like, how do they flirt? Zendaya tells Vanity Fair, "What does that look like for a space warrior and the young duke of a planet? How do they show that they like each other? What does that even sound like?" We were definitely trying to navigate that, which was funny because all of us were stumped. I think it's just as foreign to us as it probably is to the characters. The solution, she says, was another hallmark of true love, clumsiness. Awkward and uncomfortable, there's all those things, Zendaya says. But her hard-fighting desert survivor, a woman who is a literal dream woman to Chalamet's character, seemed almost too competent. I was like, does Chani get awkward? Does that happen to her? Does she know what that feels like?